Tonight, a legal fight over police headquarters. Sarnia's mayor defending his decision to hold back municipal funding. Plus, a political battle over a bridge.
You've got a bunch of crackpot advisors in the White House who misinformed the president.
How the new Windsor Detroit crossing became the latest front in the U.S. trade war. And up from the ashes in Wortley Village.
It was a pretty long journey, a lot of roadblocks in our way.
The Black Walnut Cafe now reopened.
We're here, we made it, and so that's fantastic.
CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with the latest court developments and the suspects accused in the Chesham Avenue weapons investigation. They appeared in a London courtroom today, one of them for a bail hearing. 25-year-old Fei Han was in the prisoner's box today as testimony was given through a Mandarin interpreter. A publication ban has been imposed on evidence heard at the hearing related to a rash of weapons-related offenses. A decision on bail will be made at a later date. In another courtroom, Fei Yang appeared via Zoom from the Elgin Middlesex Detention Center. She was remanded in custody until February 17th. The battle over new police headquarters in Sarnia has taken a legal turn over the mayor's use of strong powers, blocking municipal funding for the project. With the latest on the dispute, here's Jerry Dewan.
Sarnia Mayor Mike Bradley stands by his decision to use strong mayor powers to override a council decision which would have given the police service $5 million to start planning for a new headquarters.
I do not know how they can actually force a city to put up $5 million when we've already set our budget following their rules. It's locked in.
A letter from a Toronto law firm responding on behalf of the Sarnia Police Services Board spelled out that under Section 50 of the Community and Policing Act, using strong mayor powers to influence the police budget is overreach. Sarnia Councillor and Police Services Board Vice Chair Anne-Marie Gillis says the headquarters isn't a nice to have, it's a need to have.
We need to do it, and we need to do it soon.
Gillis says a letter from the Solicitor General's office was distributed in mid-January to councils and police services boards across the province and was a direct response to the strong mayor power play in Sarnia. It stressed that strong mayor powers do not include the power to limit police service board increases.
The Solicitor General has made that quite clear. So here we are trying to sort it all out.
Mayor Bradley continues to point to an independent engineering report commissioned by the police service, which indicates that for about $4.5 million, the current headquarters can remain viable. Gillis says that money would only make the headquarters compliant under the Ontarians with Disabilities Act and doesn't address overcrowding and the inadequate facilities that aren't conducive to modern policing.
We don't have a safe place to transport or move prisoners into the actual facility itself, which is required. So there are specific requirements from the minister that we must comply with, and we cannot comply with the actual physical building the way it is.
Bradley says the $5 million commitment will lead the city down the path of spending approximately $120 million for the new headquarters.
The Ford government always talks about affordability and taking care of the ordinary person. If they intervene in this, they're sending a message that mayors and councils across this province should just give up on trying to control their budgets.
Bradley says Sarnia is one of the few cities in Canada that has a balanced budget, and the new headquarters will mean significant tax increases for years to come. In Sarnia, Jerry Dewan, CTV News.
Provincial police say a 19-year-old was killed in a snowmobile crash last night. They say the operator hit a tree on the Milverton Snowmobile Trail near Perth Line 72, and they were pronounced dead at the scene. Their name has not been released, and the trail has since reopened.
Good evening. The tide has shifted. Temperatures climbing above freezing this afternoon in London, hitting at 3 degrees. We have had a little bit of light precipitation in parts of the region. We've had a warm front come in, and that put us right into that warm sector. So today, daytime highs ranging from 1 to 3, with the exception parts of Midwestern Ontario, you held just at around the freezing mark. Wind chill, not a big playing factor in our forecast, but tonight you'll still have a wind chill of about -12 through the overnight. This little cold front is going to make the move across across the area. It will bring us a wind shift to the northwest. Now, the main snow is east of Toronto, where special weather statements are in effect, and expecting upwards of 7 to 10 centimeters of snow from about Kingston to Ottawa. Temperature in London by midnight, -2 with winds out of the northwest. Coming up, I'll take you through the forecast. We'll look ahead to the holiday weekend. Beautiful weather on the way with sunshine and temperatures above freezing. I'll put it all together for you coming up in just a few minutes. Carlyle, back to you.
Thanks, Julie. Donald Trump is taking aim at a major southwestern Ontario trade corridor, threatening to block the opening of the new Windsor Detroit bridge unless the U.S. is compensated. Prime Minister Mark Carney says it will get sorted out after an early morning phone call with the president. With the latest, here's Mike Lecouture.
Canada, of course, paid for the construction of the bridge, over $4 billion.
Prime Minister Carney said he laid out that fact to President Trump in an early morning call that he described as positive. He also cleared up Trump's misconception about the construction of the span.
Obviously, there's Canadian steel, Canadian workers, but also U.S. steel, U.S. workers that are involved. This is a great example of cooperation between our countries.
Ownership of the bridge is clearly spelled out according to the 2017 agreement. The crossing will be publicly owned jointly by Canada and Michigan. Yet Trump's officials insist there are issues.
There's a question as to the proceeds of tolls, et cetera, and so there's going to be a negotiation on that front into how that bridge should be treated. If it's going to be going into the U.S.
According to the agreement, Canada will collect tolls until it recoups the costs related to construction. After that, they're split between Canada and Michigan. One former ambassador says there's a reason the president gets things so wrong.
You've got a bunch of crackpot advisors in the White House who misinform the president, who already likes to have tantrums and lash out and try to get leverage or extort things.
In Trump's online tirade, he also took aim at the Ontario ban on American alcohol, which the premier says won't change.
It's obviously working. It's an irritant. But there's one thing President Trump can do: get rid of Canadian tariffs.
Now, it's unclear if tariffs were discussed on the call, but Prime Minister Carney did say the president asked his ambassador to Canada and Michigan native Pete Hoekstra to continue the conversation and bridge the apparent gap. Mike Lecouture, CTV News, Ottawa.
Now, the bridge itself was only recently declared complete, a project that had been in the works for 25 years. As Michelle Molesky reports, its official opening, which has long been delayed, is now even more uncertain.
The flags are in place and the Gordie Howe Bridge is complete. In a now infamous social media post, U.S. President Donald Trump says he won't let it open unless America is, quote, fully compensated.
We've been hearing some concerns, and again, we have the existing ambassador bridge where the U.S. has more of a say. We just want to make sure, again, that our economic and national security is preserved.
This is insanity.
Windsor Mayor Drew Dilkens says even though the post is full of inaccuracies, he believes it has nothing to do with the bridge and more to do with looming trade talks.
He picks issue by issue, whether it's steel, aluminum, softwood lumber, auto, dairy, it doesn't matter. He likes to pick off individual issues, create a scenario where he tries to get a win on each individual issue, which I think speaks to the complexity that Prime Minister Carney and the team are going to have this year as they sit down and try and renegotiate USMCA.
Prime Minister Mark Carney says he talked to Trump this morning for what he calls, quote, a polite conversation.
I explained that Canada, of course, paid for the construction of the bridge, over $4 billion, that the ownership is shared between the state of Michigan and the government of Canada.
25% was U.S. steel and concrete. Then the interchange going on from the Michigan side, it was all American workers, all American steel, all American concrete.
It is a really important part of our economy, the largest crossing in North America, and so it is important that it continues to move forward and open up on time.
The question remains, can the president prevent this bridge from opening?
No, there's not much he could do on a sort of direct level, but that emergency authority that he can pull out of his pocket really gives him the ability to do quite extraordinary things sometimes.
Political science professor Jamie Essex agrees the post has more to do with future trade talks, fueled by hurt feelings from the past.
It's also, I think, a bit of an emotional reaction on the part of the president, because he's still clearly upset about things that were said at the Davos meetings.
Michelle Molesky, CTV News.
The Black Walnut Cafe has reopened in Wortley Village nearly 3 years after a devastating fire tore through the property. With more on the rebuilding effort ahead of a grand opening event this weekend, here's Sean Irvin.
Here it sits, a building so iconic that if you didn't know otherwise, you'd swear is the original. The Black Walnut Cafe is reborn 3 years after a deliberately set fire destroyed the 1880s building it once called home. The blaze in April of 2023 left a hole in the heart of Wortley Village.
It was, heart-wrenching to see it going up in flames and everything that we built over the years.
It has taken almost 3 years and a lot of challenges to get here.
When it first happened, we vowed to rebuild, and we kind of thought it would be about a year, maybe a year and a half to get it all done, but it was a pretty long journey, a lot of roadblocks in our way, and but we're here, we made it, and so that's fantastic.
A soft open began this week as 20 staff members welcomed regulars back for a test run.
We had a lineup at the door. We let in our, VIP customers, we call them. But yeah, everyone has been a familiar face, honestly.
And those familiar faces had the first look at the inside of the building. It combines modern baking and kitchen facilities with classic nods to the original structure.
They did an awesome job, and it's exactly the same like before. And it's beautiful.
It cost over $2 million to rebuild the Black Walnut. Not a surprising figure, given the only thing that survived the fire was the sign over the door. That sign is now joined by another welcoming customers back. The owners admit the business could have been rebuilt for hundreds of thousands of dollars less had they not tried to duplicate the original structure. Stained glass, period windows, and other touches are among the additional costs incurred.
I think a lot of people these days put up square-looking, kind of modern buildings, but we wanted to bring back that past and bring back what the community loves so much. And I think we brought it back really similar to the way it was outside and inside.
In London, Sean Irvin, CTV News.
A Huron County company is breaking into a new market this year, making decontamination trailers for Ontario firefighters. Scott Miller reports.
Andy Orr and Tom Enns admire the latest creation from their business, the Trailer Factory, a mobile decontamination trailer to be used by firefighters at the scene of emergencies.
If you're contaminated with a substance, the idea of getting back into a cab of a fire truck, for instance, and then going back to the base, well, now you've contaminated everybody and everything kind of in the midst of that. So the idea is clean it on site if you can, and then you can come back, you hop in a cab, and everybody's got a safe, clean environment.
The mobile decontamination trailers come with their own water tank, wastewater tank, and power supply. The first one shipped out last week, with 6 more destined for fire departments in southern Ontario.
It actually originally started, there was a bunch of municipal fires down in Wheatley, Ontario. If you're familiar with them, they had explosions right in the main street. The ministry realized at that point in time that there was a real need for units like this to get these guys cleaned up before they go home to see their families.
While the decontamination trailers are a totally new product for them, this kind of mobile trailer is not new to Orr and Enns, who have grown from 3 employees when they opened 9 years ago to 74 employees today.
Our main product line is portable washrooms, and we've kind of watched that space grow over the last number of years, where it's become a rule and legislation that on a job site you need to have portable sanitation with hot water. And this is kind of dovetails right in nicely behind it, where you should solve the problem while you're there.
Well, they did just start with these 7 decontamination trailers that are destined for firefighting stations in Ontario. They've already got an order for one for the city of Vancouver, and there's really a growth possibility with this kind of product across all of Canada.
We think there's a huge market for it, not only for commercial and residential fires, but also in the forest fighting industry. We see a lot of need for it out west, where you see the big forest fires and things like that.
In Huron Park, Scott Miller, CTV News.
King's University College held an event last night highlighting historical injustices and the importance of addressing them. Lauren Stallone has more on the Indigenous heritage in focus.
King's University College is hosting a public conversation on the repatriation of Indigenous artifacts released from Vatican collections.
Their return was the culmination of years of education and advocacy by Indigenous leaders, and these belongings are now at the Canadian Museum of History in Gatineau, where Indigenous communities are leading the work of tracing each item back to its people of origin.
62 items were returned to First Nations, Inuit, and Métis leaders back in December. Experts say this topic is at the forefront of national discussions centered around cultural heritage, reconciliation, and institutional responsibility.
We're grateful to be joined by panelists whose scholarship, lived experience, and professional work help us to think more deeply about what repatriation means historically, institutionally, and also for Indigenous communities today.
Historians say this dialogue is an important opportunity to learn and reflect on the responsibilities institutions carry in addressing historical injustices.
Finding ways in which case these institutions can help to repatriate knowledge, that's funding knowledge keepers, that's funding programs, that's building relationships with Indigenous communities.
While considered a major step forward, experts believe more needs to be done to deepen understanding of cultural heritage, faith, and the ongoing work of reconciliation.
I would say it's a little bit of a drop in the ocean compared to what needs to be done in regards to repatriating cultural items, but it's definitely a consequential moment.
The artifacts are currently undergoing examination in Gatineau, Quebec, before being returned to their originating communities. Lauren Stallone, CTV News.
Still ahead, we'll bring you up to speed on Canada's Olympic performance and the latest medal table. Plus, events in Italy are being scheduled later and later in the day. We'll explain why. Welcome back. A mix of highs and lows for Team Canada on day 4 of the Olympic schedule. With more on today's results and in addition to our country's medal haul, here's Scott Hurst.
Down and out. Captain of the Canadian women's hockey team, Marie-Philippe Poulin, did not play against the Americans on Tuesday. She's listed as day-to-day with a lower body injury after taking a hit into the boards during Canada's win over Czechia Monday night.
Losing her is obviously a big one because the United States have been the better team internationally over the last couple of years.
And the United States proved to be too strong on this day, beating Canada to remain undefeated in the preliminary round of the women's hockey tournament. Staying on the ice, Canada is back on the podium, this time in short track speed skating, a silver medal in the mixed relay event.
So close to the podium in Beijing, so it kind of feels special just coming back here and just getting ourselves on the podium.
A shared moment of joy for Kim Boutin, Courtney Sarreau, William Dangenou, and Felix Roussel. Florence Brunel and Stephen Dubois also getting medals for skating in the earlier rounds. Figure skater Stephen Gogolev with a strong performance in the men's singles short program with a score of 87.41, setting himself up for the free skate on Friday. So far so good for opening ceremony flag bearer Mikhail Kingsbury, third in moguls qualification, just behind his teammate, Quebec City's Julien Viel. Both are moving on to the finals. And making its Olympic debut, women's alpine team combined. One skier tackling the downhill speed event, the other racing the more technical slalom course. Canadians Valérie Grenier and Laurence Saint-Germain finishing 13th. So the medal count now stands at 3, 1 silver and 2 bronze, with more athletes in the mix for medals tomorrow, including in the ice dance final. 3 Canadian pairs, led by Piper Giles and Paul Poirier, third heading into the final event. Scott Hurst, CTV News, Toronto.
The global nature of the Olympics means time zones all over the world have to be taken into consideration when scheduling events. In Canada, we're anywhere from 4 to 9 hours behind the events in Italy. With more on the accommodation efforts to ensure viewers see their country's athletes in action, here's Garrett Berry.
Tonight is a night that hockey fans here in Milan have had circled on their calendars for quite some time. But there's something else notable on the tickets, the 8:10 start time. Tonight's game is one of many, especially here in Milan, that start well after dark. It's not unusual for events to start at 8, 9, even 10 o'clock at night and finish even later. Those late starts and finishes have been an adjustment for athletes competing on the ice.
You try not to look at your clock when you get back, but we did a great job coming into the village when we were in Lugano, making sure that we were kind of adjusting ourselves and staying up later than normal. I would say that usually, especially my roommates, they're probably going to bed usually a little bit earlier than 11:30, but when you know that you're going to be on the ice till that time, you don't really want your body to get into that rhythm.
We got a chance today to ask Olympic organizers about these scheduling choices. They say this is a conversation that happens during every games, but the later starts here in Milan allow more people in North America and around the world to watch events live. So to spread the Olympic message, they said it's a worthy move to change routines. Garrett Berry, CTV News in Milan.
London hockey player Julia Gosling has 3 goals through Canada's first 3 games of the women's tournament, cheered on by her family here at home.
She's doing very well, and I think each game she improves, she gets more confident.
Gosling's grandmother lives at Metcalfe Gardens retirement home in St. Thomas, where she and other residents have been watching the Olympic action. With the early afternoon start time, large groups of seniors have been gathering to cheer on Gosling and her teammates.
It is a dream come true because, like, she's, of course, they started very young, and that's always been her dream. But yes, so she was hoping the last Olympics, but this year it came true, and I'm delighted to see her do so well.
Canadian tennis player Victoria Mboko has advanced at a tournament in the Middle East. Mboko won her Qatar Open match today in straight sets, moving into the 3rd round of the WTA 1000 event. She's seeded 10th in the tournament and has improved her season record to 10-3. On the desk now with Julie Atchison, and what a shift. You did say it was going to be a warm-up and noticeable when you went outside today, for sure.
You know what I'm so excited to do? I just want to get my car cleaned.
It's been pointless.
I know.
You know, you drive down 20 minutes later, you're covered all over again.
It's mild enough now that I'm like, okay, I really need to get that done. It's been definitely a long time coming. 3 degrees, Carlyle, our high today. Mild, as you mentioned. Yes, we recovered quite nicely this afternoon. Temperature-wise across the region, finally, I can say we're above seasonal. We did have a warm front come in with some light snowfall. That snow has now moved off to the east, but we have some flurries in the forecast tonight, especially in Midwestern Ontario. So a couple things to take a look at tonight. Satellite radar. We do have the main area of low pressure, the parent low towards Superior, and then the fronts coming through the lower Great Lakes. So that snowfall will continue to drive east. Kingston to Ottawa, special weather statement in effect, talking about the drive home and into the evening, where there is the potential for 7 to 10 centimeters of snow. As we take a look across Canada today, Western Canada, beautiful. Lots of sunshine to a mix of sun and cloud across the southern prairies. We still have some colder air towards northwestern Ontario and a bit of active weather in through parts of the Maritimes with some snowfall. Halifax reading at -1 on the hour. As we take a look at the next 24 hours, flurry. So what's happening today is we've had the warm front come in, and that pushed the temperatures up with that southerly flow. Now the cold front will be crossing tonight. That will shift our winds to the northwest, and the winds are going to get a little bit gusty at times as we head through the day tomorrow, and that generates the off-lake flow coming off Huron and expecting some flurries. So as we head into your Wednesday, expecting some light flurry action. You can see Grey and Bruce County accumulating snow, likely another 2 to 4 centimeters for you. Most of the region seeing some light flurries with minimal accumulation, but you can still see that off-lake component. So lake effect flurries heading into Wednesday afternoon, evening in London. So we'll start the day cloudy, chance for flurries as we head through the evening, so for your drive home. As we go out 24 hours, minimal accumulation towards London. On the high end, a couple centimeters, so trace amounts of snow. As we head further north, Owen Sound about 3 centimeters, but south of that little blue bullseye through parts of central Bruce County and southern Grey, that's where you'll see that 2 to 4 centimeters tonight, and then the potential for another 2 to 4 centimeters tomorrow. Daytime high, -3 for your Wednesday. Northwest winds, I mentioned, a bit gusty at times in the afternoon. Thursday, mainly cloudy and -3 at the freezing mark on Friday. Thursday night will be cold, so keep that in mind, especially heading out the door Friday morning with that temperature dropping off. By Saturday, sunshine and look at 4 degrees, 3 degrees on Sunday. People are going to be singing spring. Mainly cloudy for holiday Monday, the high +2 and 2 degrees on Tuesday. The holiday weekend will feature lots of sunshine to start, an opportunity for some snowfall coming in Sunday night. I know many people have been perhaps putting off travel. It's been extremely cold and we've been dealing with rounds of snowfall. This weekend, it's looking good. So if you are putting off some plans to hang out with some friends or family this weekend, you can do that. The only opportunity for snowfall will come as we head into Sunday night. Lots of sunshine with daytime highs coming in from 0 to +1. Heading into the weekend, looking good, overnight lows coming up as well. So some snowfall in the forecast in Midwestern Ontario, Carlyle tomorrow. We are expecting around 2 to 4 centimeters tonight, Grey Bruce, and then 2 to 4 tomorrow in those central areas, but the rest of the region just expecting some light flurries.
All right, Julie, thanks very much. When we return, the difficulty in restoring a social media account when it's suspended for no fault of your own.
Now, besides the beautiful weather that we had today, there are a few more signs that spring is going to be here before we know it. We'll chat about those tomorrow morning. Also, make sure you join us for Prize 10, another chance to score a $100 OLG voucher at 7:10. Good luck.
The owner of Toronto's Yorkdale Shopping Centre has won a fight against an unwanted tenant that moved into its former Hudson's Bay store. Oxford Properties took its fight against discount department store Les Aides de la Mode to court. The company argued the retail brand, which owns Fairweather, is not suitable for its luxury branding. An Ontario judge ruled the plan lacked what she called commercial soundness and agreed to block the store from taking over the space. Officials with Canadian fashion retailer Ardene say they're dealing with a so-called cyber incident. They sent an email to customers yesterday apologizing for recent shipping delays and temporary inconsistencies with their rewards program and gift cards. They say they identified and responded to a cyber incident impacting internal systems last month, and an investigation is now underway. However, they say no customer data has been compromised. Social media users are sharing their experiences with CTV having their social media accounts locked or suspended for apparent inappropriate content. As Pat Foran reports, many of them rely on those platforms for their businesses, and getting support has proven difficult.
It's something I rely on so much for getting new clients.
Jennifer Gaskell of Whitby runs Pink Palm Travel, a business she has grown over the past 5 years using Instagram.
That's how I grew a lot of my client base, which, is part of the reason why it really stings to have it be suspended right now.
Last summer, Gaskell was stunned when her Instagram account was suspended for having inappropriate content, something that made no sense to her.
It was flagged for the reasons that they gave me were absurd. It was like nudity, for example. I immediately was shocked.
She contacted Meta to say there must be a mistake and to have her account reinstated, without success.
There's been really nothing but silence from Meta on this.
It said that was banned, right? Suspended.
Yeah, the San Sivaraj of Scarborough had an Instagram account for 10 years with over 1,000 followers. It was also suspended due to content violations. He has no idea why, and he also can't get it restored.
Honestly, I just want my Instagram account back because I feel that I shouldn't lose it for something I didn't do.
With Meta, they use automated systems to detect policy violations, and sometimes these automated systems can make a mistake.
A social media expert says having suspended social media accounts reinstated can be difficult.
All the content we're posting online, again, is rented to these social media platforms. It's not really our own. We don't have control over it the way we wish we could.
A Meta spokesperson told CTV News support for Facebook and Instagram is available online, and there are steps to take to have accounts restored. But after months of trying, Sivaraja and Gaskell remain locked out of their accounts. They had to open new ones and start all over again.
Personally, I've had a 50% drop in inquiries, so it does have a direct connection.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
Canada's main stock index was up on strength in the technology sector. The TSX gained 234 points. In New York, the Dow added 52. The Nasdaq lost 136. The Canadian dollar is up 0.17 of a cent. On commodity markets, gold fell more than $48 an ounce. Oil dropped 40 cents a barrel. Coming up, a plea for municipal action. Multiple people attacked by the same dog in Durham region. Welcome back. A spousal support program has launched online, helping people whose partners work in trauma-exposed professions. With more on its impact, here's Pauline Chan.
Chris Linford was a 33-year member of the Canadian military, largely working in healthcare as a nurse.
I was deployed to Rwanda, Africa, just on the tail end of the genocide.
The experience led to a diagnosis of PTSD years later.
PTSD is kind of one of those injuries that makes you stare at your belly button all day long. So you don't really have a great deal of capacity to see how your behavior is impacting others. I knew there was something wrong.
And when Catherine Linford eventually sought help for herself, she didn't even realize it was connected to Chris's behavior.
I sought help just because I thought I need to figure out what's going on with me. I was sad, I was angry, I was frustrated, so I just needed to find out why.
She and two experienced mental health workers appear in a new online program called the Spousal Resiliency Program, a spin-off of Wounded Warriors in-person course.
It is not a program to bash our spouses. It's about taking care of us so that we are in a better place to take care, not to take care of them, but to understand them better.
Wounded Warriors CEO Scott Maxwell says having the program online vastly expands accessibility.
Removing geographical barriers to accessing what we know is needed from spouses no matter where they reside in Canada.
He says in Ontario alone, there are some 80,000 public safety personnel, not including retirees or family.
You're talking about upwards of 800,000 to 1 million trauma-exposed professional people.
The 3-hour-long program is meant to be read and absorbed over several weeks and months.
It's a game changer for the country.
And Wounded Warriors also has support programs for couples and children of trauma-exposed professionals. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
Parents of children with diabetes are demanding the province's education ministry improve care for diabetes in schools. They say right now the supervision and help kids receive varies widely from classroom to classroom and board to board. A spokesperson for the education minister says diabetes care policies are under review. Canadian Medical Association officials say doctors are concerned their patients are getting bad advice from artificial intelligence. An online survey by Abacus Data asked more than 5,000 Canadians a series of questions about where they get their health information. Nearly every respondent said they go online because it's quick and easy to access. Roughly half said they look at AI search results from Google or ChatGPT. About half also said they get treatment advice from AI. The survey indicated patients who followed AI advice were 5 times more likely to report an adverse reaction or negative outcome. Officials with the Canadian Blood Services are asking people to give blood and plasma, reporting a dip in donations across the country. With more on the urgency of this request, here's Karis Mapp.
Today is my 5th time.
It's probably only about 5.
97.
Whether it's your first or 100th time, Canadian Blood Services is encouraging everyone to donate blood and plasma as soon as they can.
We're just wanting to ensure that we can keep up with the demand that the hospitals are needing.
Donations are down everywhere.
In the next 2 weeks in Kitchener-Waterloo alone, we have over 500 appointments open and available to book into. So that's a potential for over 500 units of blood to be collected, and they're sitting vacant.
The winter weather playing a large role in people canceling their appointments or not wanting to book and leave their house at a time when the need is greater than ever.
When there's icy road conditions, there are more accidents and car crashes and things that would cause the hospitals to need more blood for emergent cases as well.
Some people say they were simply unaware of the process.
I didn't know anything about this growing up or when I was younger, and I really it never entered my mind to think about it.
Others started showing up because of a personal connection.
A long time ago when my brother was born, he needed blood transfusions. My mom can't donate, but my dad has always donated. And I used to go with him as a high school student.
I have a brother-in-law that's had a lot of blood transfusions, so do it for people like that.
Whatever the reason, organizers say people's generosity could help save a life.
You're helping your community, you're giving back, and you're also doing something for yourself, something that makes you feel good.
Today I'm here donating blood for the first time, and Canadian Blood Services say they need more people to do the same. So they've launched a campaign with an incentive they also hope will be appealing. The Give and Getaway initiative lets donors enter for a chance to win 2 round-trip tickets to any Air Canada scheduled destination.
If you donate one time, you can enter once. If you donate twice in that time period, you can enter twice. If you add a stem cell registry sign up in there, you get a bonus entry.
Regular donors say it's worth any reservations people may have when thinking about the bigger picture.
There's nothing hard about it. It doesn't hurt you. All you're doing is helping people. It's a win-win-win-win-win, right?
Karis Mapp, CTV News, Waterloo.
A new poll suggests most Albertans want to remain part of Canada. That survey was carried out as separatists push to force a referendum on Alberta independence, campaigning all over the province. With more, here's Jordan Canigan.
Lineups are long and many signatures are being gathered, but support for Alberta to separate from Canada doesn't appear to be widespread.
It's the intensity factor here that I think really stands out. Right now, the intensity is with the stay side as opposed to the leave side.
The Angus Reid Institute polled 979 Albertans online from February 2nd to the 6th. It found 29% of people would vote for Alberta independence, while 65% would vote to stay in Canada.
That number is 7 times larger than the number of Albertans who say they would definitely vote to leave.
But those pushing for an independent Alberta say it's time to break free from federal policies they say are harmful and gain full control of the province's resources.
My response is that it's a phony poll. The mood in Alberta and what's going on in Alberta is what's being demonstrated by all of the events and signings, the signing events.
Rath suggests some of that support is coming from those within the provincial government, but says UCP MLAs are being muzzled.
We want to make sure that Ottawa pays attention to Alberta, that Ottawa hears Albertans, but we are supporting United Alberta within United Canada.
Those against leaving worry about the province being landlocked and losing key Canadian programs and infrastructure.
I think there's no need to separate Canada, as great as it is, and I love Canada.
I really don't think it's good because we support everybody in Alberta. Alberta supports most of Canada with workers, oil, whatnot.
There's 70% people that don't think it's a right idea, but they don't like it. There's BC. There's, move out there if you want.
Jordan Cadigan, CTV News, Calgary.
A shout out tonight to Larry Broadbent. Thank you for sharing this photo. Taken yesterday, the Ontario Southland Railway train pushing through the snow. This is just west of Putnam on its way to St. Thomas. Temperatures rebounding above the freezing mark today. A bit colder heading into tomorrow afternoon. Chance of flurries Wednesday evening. Looking good for the holiday weekend. Lots of sunshine Friday and Saturday.
Residents in Durham region are calling for stricter rules when it comes to dangerous dogs after 2 women and a young girl were attacked in Oshawa. Janice Golding has more, and a warning: some of the images in this story are graphic.
You're happy to relive it. Speaking to Whitby Regional Councillors, Tajana Desiree relived a vicious dog attack that left 4-year-old Riley Silva and her mother Kayla Silva injured.
I myself am still experiencing flashbacks that plague my mind of watching the dog lunge at my daughter's face.
All the delegates calling on authorities to do better, saying it took 7 days before an animal control order was issued to the dog's owners.
I'm furious. The whole thing's just been a nightmare.
It really comes down to ownership and there being more liability placed on owners and how they're caring and training their dogs.
While the dogs must now be muzzled and leashed, except in their owner's home, a regional councillor for the town says that doesn't go far enough.
Our dog bite rules need more teeth.
Chris Leahy put forward a motion that passed unanimously, calling for staff to review Whitby's responsible dog and cat owner bylaw and look at best practices from cities like Toronto, which passed new dangerous dog rules in 2024.
To me, Toronto has the gold standard. They have the requirements to put a notification on people's house when there's a dangerous dog. They have the requirement to let people know about the dangerous dog. They have the map so you can identify the area where there's issues. And orders are easier to implement.
I do not feel safe in my own neighborhood.
Janice Bell says she was attacked by the same dog 7 months ago and says she supports Leahy's motion, especially given he's also asking that all of Durham's 8 municipalities be able to share dangerous dog information so they can better protect their communities.
This isn't necessarily an Oshawa issue or a Whitby issue. This is a Durham, this is a community issue, and we need to keep everybody safe.
Janice Golding, CTV News.
London police say they've charged 2 men accused of trying to break into a home. They say it happened near Pall Mall and William early this morning. According to police, the suspects tried to run away, but they were tracked down by a police dog. Police say they found a hatchet from them and knives. Federal government officials say they're going to spend $84 million on more electric vehicle charging ports across the country. They say right now Canada has about 30,000 chargers nationally, and they want to add another 8,000. This was part of the federal auto strategy announced last week that includes $1.5 billion for electric vehicle infrastructure. There's also an EV rebate program, an end to the EV sales mandate, and stricter emission standards for the auto sector. Starting this summer, federal workers will be required in the office at least 4 days a week. Government officials say they'll ensure there's enough office space for everyone, but union leaders say workers will be going back to horrendous conditions inside some federal buildings. Katie Griffin reports.
As federal workers prepare to spend more time in the office, a warning from Canada's largest public sector union.
Currently, the conditions within the offices are horrendous. There's still issues with the buildings. There's bed bugs, pests. We're talking about mice, bats. There's just issues with the actual setup, and there's not enough space.
This comes after a new directive was issued last week requiring most federal public service workers to be in the office 4 days a week as of July 6th.
We know that they've grown by tens of thousands of people since the pandemic, and we know that they've downsized space. So we're concerned that the math equation might not be working.
Commercial real estate expert Sean Hamilton says the government needs a strategy and a plan.
There is a solution that the federal government could offer, high quality space to its workforce by leasing space from the private sector, essentially taking the space back that they divested of.
The federal budget outlined a plan for Public Services and Procurement Canada to reduce its office portfolio by 50% over the next 10 years. In a statement, the department says given the increase of on-site presence for employees, the reduction target will be adjusted accordingly. Planning in this regard is underway. The new in-office mandate prompting PSAC to file an unfair labor practice complaint.
People's mental health has been impacted, and now they're told, by the way, we're changing your working conditions and you're required to come in 4 days a week. It doesn't make sense.
Katie Griffin, CTV News.
The Great Lakes are now more than half frozen over. Lake Erie alone is at about 95% coverage. Forecasters say it could freeze over completely, which hasn't happened in nearly 30 years. A massive crack opened up through the middle of the lake as well, about 80 miles long, so large it's actually visible from space.
London's top stories.
We have breaking news tonight out of Ottawa. The latest on the
breaking news alerts.
I'm tracking an area of severe weather. It'll start.
And watch live.
A development now to a story from City Hall we brought you.
Download the CTV News app.
And before we go tonight, Lauren Stallone is with me on the desk now for our Behind the Likes segment. And this week, Lauren, we're talking about a challenge online that's gone viral, and we're about to get physical, it sounds like.
That's right. It's a great way to get fit, get active, and all for a great cause. It is called the Push-Up Challenge. Now, the challenge raises money for the Canadian Mental Health Association, raising awareness for mental health and trying to break that stigma. How it works every day is basically there's a different prompt you have to to complete a different amount, a different number of push-ups. And it's a great way to talk about mental health. By the end of the challenge, participants would have completed 2,000 push-ups, and that symbolizes the 2,000 lives lost daily to suicide. So I spoke with Michelle Phillips with CMHA Thames Valley to see how they're feeling now, knowing that this trend and this challenge has gone viral on social media, and there are so many people all across Canada, but also locally participating in the trend.
It's really hopeful. It always warms my heart, and I think that mental health has come a long way in terms of reducing that stigma. It's being talked about more, and it honestly, I just feel so honored to be able to connect with people that are choosing to stand beside us, right? We all do our part, and I think that when we do it together, we're stronger, and we have that bigger impact and that bigger voice, right? That bigger voice to, again, reduce that stigma. And there's so many barriers why people don't always reach out to those formal support. So in doing so, when we're participating in a challenge or checking in with ourselves or checking in with others, it helps reduce some of those barriers to access and maybe creates that avenue for change.
And we're welcoming Julie Anderson with us now at the end of the newscast here, because as Lauren mentioned, it's 2,000 push-ups is the grand total we're all working toward. That seems like a lot for just the two of us. Julie, welcome in, who is, I know, a fitness enthusiast herself.
Okay, 2,000, that is a ton. We may need more than just a few of us.
Hold that thought, we might have some coming. So actually, yeah, let's rally up
Let's do it.
and get over to our workout zone that we have created here in the newsroom. I'm going to lose my jacket so I don't sweat profusely.
I'm ready.
Alrighty, here we go.
Warm up a bit.
So on that note, we also have some friends from CTV London. Scott Miller, Rita Ismail, and Nick Paparella are joining us to help us get to that 2,000. So let's get in formation.
Right. Nick's got his jacket off. He's ready.
And 3, 2, here we go. Now we're a long way to go.
Right.
You don't have to stick around and watch this whole process.
Please don't.
For all of us from CTV News London, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you again tomorrow.